bye week last week. I didn't see you guys. So then I ran upstairs to go watch the damn film. And they're like, oh, yeah, media. Oh, my gosh.
Questions for Tony?
What did you see from Wisconsin against Oregon last week?
Yeah, that was a great game. I mean, they had it. They had the game. They had the game won. You know, especially when they stopped them on the field goal stuff. So they were playing lights out. You saw. You saw they wanted to run the ball against that front, and they made plays. It was just very similar. Like, you know, they just the clock ran out on them. It wasn't that they weren't playing bad. It was just the clock ran out. So it was a good game.
What's the challenge, Tony, with their shakeup there and with the coordinator situation?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be more in-game adjustments. Same thing. You know, you gotta have to feel what they're trying to do. Obviously, a great run game helps any kind of change like that, right? And so, same thing we saw last week. You know, with the how they got the quarterback going. You know, was the run game. So, expect that this week, and you know they're going to do what they do. So.
How did you think you guys performed stopping the run last week?
Not good enough. I mean, that's not, and that starts with me. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff in there was okay, and it fit up well, but then they started doing some other things, and then I didn't adjust fast enough to it, so I didn't give the guys a chance to play. I think early on you see the runs, and then you see the fronts, and then we're stoning it, and then all of a sudden they make some tweaks, come out in different formations and personnels, and then you know I was playing catch up the whole time and didn't adjust well enough, so got to do better.
How do you feel that guys got into some of the positions in the secondary? Coach Brill mentioned yesterday there was some confusion on, you know, which coverage safety was in on a certain play here or there. Like, what was your reaction to that? How did those conversations go after the game?
You know, there's a standard, right? You gotta execute at a high level, and then you gotta play with some attitude. And we had opportunities where we just didn't execute. You know what I mean, and that's the sad thing in football. You want to put yourself in a position where if they make a play, they got to beat you, right? They got to go up like one-handed on the sideline, instant replay, tippy toe. Hey, they beat me. All right, bro, you got me. Let's line up again and do it. But when you don't execute and you don't, you know, you give them free plays, you're not going to beat nobody that way. And so, again, that starts with me and making sure we do the processes right at practice, make sure that guys know where they're supposed to be. You know, we don't take that stuff for granted. You know what I mean? That's the lesson, right? You got a veteran secondary and stuff, and you know you kind of let them go out there and all that stuff, and then you got to reinforce the process all the time. You know, harp on them about the communication, make sure that they're looking at each other all the time, make sure they're communicating all the time. And give those guys a chance, because those guys can make those plays. I mean, so clearly it was something I did during the week that the message didn't get relayed.
Tony, you have a lot of veterans on your defense. What did some of those seniors like Gifford and Ty? What do they mean to you?
Oh man, I mean they came. You know that when we came here, that's what we knew, right? And so obviously all football players remember the last time they get a chance to step in front of the home crowd. You know what I mean? And it's important that the young guys understand that this is their last go in Memorial. So we made sure that we told them that one day they're going to be the old guys, and they hope that the guys after them play their butts off for them. And so we'll see. You know, I know they're going to be excited to play.
What's it been like working with Coach Holgorsen the last couple of weeks?
I don't know. He quiet dude, man. He all ball. Like he gets up, and I see that door closed on the offensive staff, and I see him go out and get coffee and get food, and he goes right back in there. You know what I mean? So he's on point. You know, with it. So it's cool. It's fun.
Coverage, Tony, what do you want to see just from your guys in those one-on-one balls? Like USC hit a couple big ones on you where you appeared to be in position, but just weren't able to come down with them.
That's it. You know what I mean? You want to get them in that position and believe and trust in your guys to go make the play, because that's what it is, right? When you play in this conference, and when you play the level of athletes, a la SC, Ohio State, I mean, you're going to be in position, right? The techniques, the training, the process during the week, that allows a good player to be in position, and now that's your time to shine. That's all you. You know what I mean? And so it just wasn't a day where we had those one-on-ones go our way, you know. And so like today, you know, we're just emphasizing it even more, things that we want to see. You know what I mean? So when those guys are in that, like today, Malcolm was in a kind of a similar position, you know, with a one-on-one ball, and I think it was Jamal caught the ball, and then we went to Indy, and I told him, I was like, hey, look, you're always right there. I want to see this. I want to be deliberate in practice today. I want to see you actively, you know, slip it and go and punch the ball. I want to see you actively go down and try to rip the ball out as he goes, because you are always in position. But now, you know, we have to finish the right way. You know, and that was the emphasis of coaches. Like, we're right there. We got to go finish the damn thing. So,
What has Nash been giving up? Because Matt mentioned the other day he's maybe been playing banged up, and just how he's kind of fought through things.
yeah, he wouldn't say a word. I mean, he don't say a word. If you a couple of games ago, UCLA, I think it was, you see him come out and he's limping. You know what I mean? A nose guard, knee brace limping in there, and then last week he was playing his tail off in there. You know what I mean? That's Nebraska. That's Nash. You know what I mean? That's who he is. DNA at his core on display, and I think he gives a little bit of backbone to the defense. You know what I mean? Like, that guy right there, he don't say nothing. He shows up every day. He does things the right way. There ain't no reason for you not to do the same damn thing. Period. So, you know, I'm grateful for what he's done and what he means to us.
How do you balance what I'm sure is some level of frustration over the way that your defense has played in the last month, with knowing that, like, there's a lot on the table in the next 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, it's not on it. It's on us, right? Like, there is a break in the process somewhere that allows those things to kind of slip in there. You know what I mean? So, like, I mean, for instance, signaling, you know, just something as, hey, whoever's signaling, we need to get them reps in practice. You know what I mean? We got to get those guys reps in practice versus either saying the calls to them or something as minute as that. You know what I mean? So it's always, when you don't have consistent success, you go back and say what was happening on Sunday, what was happening on Monday, what was happening on Tuesday, and then how to fix it, right? Because it's kind of like a dam. When one hole opens, you plug that one, but then there's another hole. So you got to consistently dive into the process, make sure everything from top down is correct and the way you want it. Otherwise, those things will creep up on you.
I know that your head coach challenged you to get more diverse in terms of the kinds of things you were calling and maybe some of the defenses you were doing. How do you feel like that's gone this season? Has that been a challenge for you and for the secondary?
No, I mean, this is whatever the head man wants, whatever the head man suggests. That's the way the program goes, right? That's how it goes. Period. You know what I mean? And so our job is to make sure that gets done, and in the way and the manner of which he wants it done, and we put it on the grass with the players and make it alive, and so that's anywhere, right? I mean, any organization that man has been through it, and he is the leader, and so, you know, when he says something, we make it work and we make it happen.
How have you seen Ty elevate his game from this point last year to now?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great one. When we first got here, you didn't know, right? You got this big athlete, right? So you don't know, and then he's playing good last year early on, and then towards the end of last year, you saw, like, wow, this guy can be really good. Now we fast forward to this year. He starts off the year and he's playing really good, and then some point mid-season, like, it just clicked where, you know, he's starting to play like one of the best defensive linemen in the country. I mean, I'm talking about pass and run. I mean, just his impact. He's affecting the game in all regards, and so, you know, to see that's what Coach saw in him. That's what we saw in him. That's what T. Knight saw in him. That's what his teammates saw in him. And it's really cool because you see the growth. You see him believing. You see him knowing. You see him taking more leadership role. You see him coaching the guys on the sideline. So, you know, that's fun to watch and fun to watch him, you know, maximize his potential.
What are some of those other guys who are walking, not as well known maybe to the general public, but like Matt mentioned, like Grant Buda the other day?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of this era in college football shifts where you're going to the 105 roster and all that. And some guys are saying goodbye.
Doc, I mean, you know, we joke with him. He's a doc, and he wouldn't say two words. And that guy, I mean, that guy busts his butt every day. I mean, he's all Nebraska. He is, every time you watch him and see him and interact with him, he's smiling and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's the backbone of programs, right? Those kind of guys, and those are the kind of guys that maybe the outside world doesn't miss, but when you're old and you talk about the things you miss about playing and being in the locker room, it's guys like Grant Buda. You know what I mean? You say, like, man, like, I remember just being in the locker room or just being in the players' lounge and, seeing him there with all of his medical stuff. And I'm like, bro, I don't know how you do it, man. You know what I mean? I don't know how you do it. And you miss those kind of guys. So it'll mean a lot to a lot of people. So we need to play our tails off.
All good.
Sorry about that earlier.